Hello everyone. Last time we have completed sulfuric acid and chlorine. We have discussed preparation, physical properties, chemical properties and uses of both chlorine as well as sulfuric acid. Today we are going to start with interhalogen compounds. So to understand about interhalogen compounds, we have seen that all halogen molecules are diatomic in nature. Okay, so they form binary compounds with hydrogen and oxyacids with oxygen and interhalogen compounds with halogens. That means two different halogens combined together will give me a interhalogen compounds. Okay, so halogens belong to the same group. Okay, like for example fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine are all the halogens. They are in the same group, but they all have different electronegativities. Because of this reason, two or more halogen atoms combine to form species like ionic or neutral in nature. Okay, so the neutral molecules are said to be interhalogen compounds. For example, ClF and BrF3. Okay, so it is called as what? Chlorine monofluoride and bromine trifluoride. So what is an interhalogen compound? It is a compound formed by combination of atoms of different halogens. Okay, so they are regarded as the halide of the more electropositive halogen. That means what? For example, if I take chlorine and fluorine, which is more electronegative over here, it is fluorine is more electronegative over here. So I can say fluoride of the more electropositive halogen, that is chlorine. Okay, so understood. So depending upon the electronegativities, one will act as electronegative atom and the other will act as electropositive. So the one which is having more electronegativity will act as the electronegative and the other will form as the electropositive atom. Okay, so you know that in the whole periodic table the electronegativity decreases down the group. Okay, so accordingly you can just choose which will be the electropositive and the electronegative atom. Okay, so the next one is given halogen forms an interhalogen compound only with the halogen having less electronegativity. Okay, next we'll talk about various types of interhalogen compounds. So as you know that fluorine is the most electronegative atom in the whole periodic table. So fluorine can form interhalogen compounds with all the other halogens like chlorine, bromine and iodine. So first we will see the examples of fluorides. Okay, so first one is fluorides of chlorine. So they are ClF, ClF3 and ClF5. So it is called as chlorine monofluoride, chlorine trifluoride and chlorine pentafluoride. Now we will see the examples for fluorides of bromine. So similar to chlorine, it will be BrF, BrF3 and BrF5. So it is called as bromine monofluoride, bromine trifluoride and bromine pentafluoride. And the last one, fluorides of iodine. Over here we can see the example as IF, next is IF3, next is IF5 and the last one is IF7. So it is called as iodine monofluoride, iodine trifluoride, next one iodine pentafluoride and the last one is iodine heptafluoride. Okay, so now we will see the chlorides, the examples for chlorides. Now as you know that fluorine is more electronegative than chlorine, it won't have like chlorides of fluorine as such. Okay, so it will start from what? Bromine and iodine. Okay, so first we will see chlorides of bromine. So the example is BrCl over here, and for chlorides of iodine it is ICl and ICl3. So hopefully you know the name now. Okay, so next one, it is for bromide of, it will be only with iodine, it will make bond only with what? Iodine there. Okay, so over here bromine will be the electronegative atom and iodine will act as the electropositive atom. So only one example of that, it is IBr, that is iodine monobromide. Okay, and with iodine there are no as such examples because it is the least electronegative atom as compared to fluorine, chlorine, bromine. Okay, so hopefully it is clear now. Next, we'll talk about the classification of interhalogen compounds. So, depending on their composition, interhalogen compounds are classified into 4 types. So, what are the types? XX dash, next XX dash 3, next is XX dash 5, and the last one is XX dash 7. So, first we have to understand what is X and X dash over here. So, if I take the general formula like X dash N, X is the halogen having larger size and is more electropositive. Once again, what is X? X is the halogen having larger size and is more electropositive, while X dash is a halogen having smaller size and more electronegative. Okay, so hopefully you understood this thing. Now we'll see the examples of each one. So for the first example, XX dash, that is it will form monohalides. Okay, so it is ClF, BrF, BrCl, ICl and IBr. Next one is XX dash 3, that means trifluorides. So the examples are what? Chlorine trifluoride, bromine trifluoride and iodine trifluoride. Next, the example for XX dash 5. Here we are talking about the pentafluorides. The examples are chlorine pentafluoride, bromine pentafluoride and iodine pentafluoride. And the last one with XX dash 7. So over here we are talking about heptahalides. So only one example, that is IF7. What is it called as? It is called as iodine heptafluoride. Okay. Next, we'll learn the general characteristics of interhalogen compounds. So first, we'll keep in mind that interhalogen compounds are represented by X dash N. Okay. So we can say that the first property says that the compound is considered as the halide of X. Example, if we take ClF. Okay, as you know that Cl is the electropositive atom and will be having larger size, and fluorine is said to be the electronegative atom with smaller size. So we name the interhalogen compound as chlorine monofluoride. And the next important thing, the N over there. N is nothing but the number of atoms of X dash attached to X. Okay, and as the ratio increases, the value of N also increases. Now what is the ratio? The radius of X upon the radius of X dash. Okay, if this ratio increases, the value of N also increases. Next property, they have even number of atoms, that is 2, 4, 6 or 8. Example, ClF3, it has total 4 atoms. Okay, so if you take any of the example, there will be even number of atoms in the interhalogen compound. Like if I say IF7, so there are 7 plus 1 of iodine, it will be what? 8 atoms. Okay, so now we'll see the next property. It says that the properties are intermediate between those of halogens from which they are made. Okay, so interhalogen compound, if it is made of chlorine and fluorine, the properties will lie intermediate between the properties of chlorine and between the properties of fluorine. Okay. Next property, the central halogen atom exhibits different oxidation states in different interhalogen compounds. Next one, the number of X dash atoms in the compounds is always odd. And the last one is they all are said to be diamagnetic in nature. So These are the properties of interhalogen compounds. Okay. Next we'll see the states of interhalogen compounds at 25 degree Celsius. Okay. So the first type XX dash. Over here there are 5 examples: ClF, BrF, BrCl, ICl and IBr. So chlorine monofluoride is colorless gas, bromine monofluoride is pale brown gas, bromine monochloride is a gas, iodine monochloride is ruby red solid if it is in alpha form, and brown red solid if it is in beta form. And the last one, that is iodine monobromide, is black solid. That means it exists as a black solid. Next type XX-3. Here we can see 4 examples, that is ClF3, BrF3, IF3 and ICl3. So first one, ClF3 is a colorless gas, that means it exists as colorless gas. Next is BrF3, that is bromine trifluoride, exists as yellow green liquid. Next one, iodine trifluoride is yellow powder. And the last one, iodine trichloride is a orange solid which dimerizes to form I2Cl6 having Cl bridges. Next type XX-5. That means we are now talking about pentahalides. Okay, over here we can see 3 examples: IF5, BrF5 and ClF5. Okay, so the first one, IF5, they exist as colorless gas at room temperature but solid below 77 Kelvin. Next one, BrF5, they are colorless liquid, and ClF5 also they are colorless liquid. Okay, and the last type XX-7. Over here there is only one example, that is iodine heptafluoride. This exists as colorless gas. Okay. Next we'll learn the methods of preparation. The first one is direct combination. It is very simple. If we want to make the type XX-, we'll take the halogens in equal amounts like it is given there, Cl2 plus F2. Okay, so equal amounts of chlorine as well as fluorine is taken, and it is taken in copper vessel at 523 Kelvin. I'll get what? Chlorine monofluoride. Similarly, I2 plus Cl2 taken in equal amounts, and I have taken the reagent as HCl plus HNO3 and boiled. I will get iodine monochloride. And the last one, again bromine and chlorine taken in equal volumes, it will give me what? Bromine monochloride. Okay, so the next type XX-3, it is also done by direct combination, but one of the thing, if it is taken in excess. Okay, so Cl2, over here fluorine is taken in excess, so I'll get the compound as what? ClF3. Next one, Br2, and over here again fluorine is taken in excess, I'll get the compound as BrF3. Next reaction, I2Cl2, over here chlorine is taken in excess, so I'll get the compound as ICl3. Okay, now second method of preparation is reaction of halogens with interhalogen compounds. So for XX-, this reaction is done for getting BrF. Okay, so bromine is treated with BrF3, interhalogen compound, and it will give me bromine monofluoride. Next is XX-3. Over here bromine is treated with ClF3, it will give me what? BrF3 and BrCl. Okay, last method of preparation for ICl. This is a special reaction. Here we treat iodine with potassium chlorate. What is potassium chlorate? It is KClO3, and it is heated. I will get what? Iodine monochloride. Okay, and I'll get the byproduct as what? KiO3. Okay, so hopefully the methods of preparation is clear now. Now we'll see the properties of interhalogen compounds. So first one, thermal stability. Okay, so the decreasing order of thermal stability of interhalogen compounds is written over there in the first row. So in that thing we can understand that ClF, that is chlorine monofluoride, is more thermally stable as compared to iodine monochloride, and so on. Okay, and the least stable will be bromine monofluoride. Okay, so next one, hydrolysis reaction. Over here, hydrolysis means the reaction with water. Okay, so the first one, BrCl reacts with water to give hypobromous acid and HCl. Next one, ICl reacts with water, that is hydrolysis of ICl will give me HiO3, that is iodic acid, HCl and iodine. Okay, and for the type XX-3, ICl3 when hydrolyzed will give me HiO3, that is iodic acid, HCl and ICl. Okay, so next one, disproportionation or autoionization reaction. Over here, for XX- type we have the reaction BRF gives Br2 plus BRF5, and for XX-3 we have the reaction as what? ClF3 will give me ClF2 plus ClFO minus, and one more reaction there, ICl3, when it is heated it will give me ICl plus Cl2. Okay, next one, fluorination reaction. For XX-3 type, over here uranium reacts with ClF3 to give UF6, which is liquid, and ClF, which is gas in nature. Okay, and the last one is addition across olefins. That means in any of the alkenes, if we take CH2 double bond CH2, when it is treated with interhalogen compound like ICl, it will give me this product. Okay, so across the double bond the halogen is getting added up. Okay, now we will see the uses of interhalogen compounds. First one, of the type XX-. Over here, ICl is used to determine iodine value of oils. Next, it is used as catalyst for oxidation of arsenic 3. Next, for preparation of polyhalides, and the uses of XX-3 for the preparation of polyhalides as fluorinating agents and as non-aqueous solvent. Next, we will see the structures of some interhalogen compounds. First one, ICl, the name is iodine monochloride, and the shape of the structure is linear. Okay, next one, ClF3, that is chlorine trifluoride. It's written wrongly there, so please understand, that is chlorine trifluoride. Okay, over here it is bent T-shaped. Okay, and the angle between FCl-F bond is 89 degree. Okay, next one, BrF3, bromine trifluoride. Over here again it is bent T-shaped, but bromine will be having 2 lone pairs over here. Okay, next one, BrF5, that is bromine pentafluoride. Over here square pyramidal, the shape is square pyramidal, and it is bromine is bonded with 5 fluorine and there is one lone pair. Last one, ClF5, it is chlorine pentafluoride, the shape is square pyramidal. Chlorine is bonded with 5 fluorine atom and there is one lone pair in chlorine. Okay. Next, we'll learn about the oxidation states of central halogen atoms. Over here, the first example, that is IF7, the number of lone pairs of electrons is 0, and the oxidation state of central halogen atom, that is iodine, is equal to +7. Next one, for ClF5, BrF5 and IF5, the number of lone pairs of electrons is equal to 1, and the oxidation state of the central atom is equal to +5. So which is the central atom in case of ClF5? It is Cl. For BrF5 it is Br, and for IF5 it is I. Next one, for ClF3, BrF3, IF3 and I2Cl6, the number of lone pairs of electrons is equal to 2, and the oxidation state of central halogen atom is +3. And the last one, for examples ClF, BrF, IF, Br, Cl, ICl and IBr, that is monohalides, the number of lone pairs of electrons is equal to 3, and the oxidation state of central halogen atom is +1. So hopefully it is clear now. And one more thing, to find out the oxidation state, it is very simple. Like I say for first one, IF7. So if I want to find out the oxidation state of iodine, what I'll do, I'll take it as X plus F, the charge is -1. So -1 into 7 is equal to 0, because the charge of the compound is neutral. So this is how you calculate the oxidation state of each one. Okay, so no need to by heart anything. You can do it and find out the oxidation state. Okay. Next, we are going to learn the uses of group 18 elements, that too for helium, argon and neon. Okay, so you don't have the reactions to learn in this thing. So hopefully you know the elements which is present in group 18 elements, that is helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Okay, so now we'll start with the uses of helium. Okay, so the first use is mixture of helium and oxygen is used for artificial breathing of asthma patients. So I am only going to read out the uses. You just have to by heart all these uses. Okay, normally it is asked for 2 marks in the examination. Okay, so second one, mixture of helium and O2 is used for respiration by sea divers. Next, for filling balloons, a mixture of helium, hydrogen is used. Helium is used for producing inert atmosphere required for welding purpose and metallurgy of some metals. Next, liquid helium is used for producing low temperature required for research. Next, in low temperature gas thermometer for production of lasers used to pressurize fuel tanks of liquid fueled rockets, used as shielding gas for arc welding in supersonic wind tunnels. Next, helium nucleus is used as a bombarding particle for disintegration of atoms. And the last one is used for magnetic resonance imaging, that is MRI. Okay. Next, we'll see the uses of neon. So first one, in neon discharged lamps and signs, these signs are visible from the long distances and also in mist or fog. Next use, mixture of helium and neon is used in certain protective electrical devices such as voltage stabilizers and current rectifiers. Next use, for the production of lasers, and the last one in fluorescent tubes. Next, we will see the uses of argon. First one, for producing inert atmosphere in welding and steel production. Second one, the mixture of 85% argon and 15% nitrogen is filled in electric bulb to increase life of filament. Next use, in filling fluorescent tubes and radio valves. And the last one, it is mixed with neon to get lights of various colors. Okay, so we have done with group 18 elements now. So next class we'll start with chemical kinetics. Okay, so please do study this chapter well. Okay then, bye.